So, are Sandbox solutions dead in 2013? Well, this was a popular theory that was made even more popular with some of the prescriptive guidance that Microsoft came out with on MSDN, I believe even on the Sharepoint team blog originally. So basically what Microsoft was saying was that Sandbox solutions are deprecated, use the app model. And they were saying that mostly everybody, they wanted to promote the app model. So it's, a lot of people kind of jumped on that bandwagon, but really the message that Microsoft wanted to send was not that Sandbox solutions are dead. Yes, they are deprecated, but only the Sandbox solutions that use code. So if you use server-side code, then those are deprecated. But if you're just using Sandbox solutions to provision artifacts to a site, or if you have declarative markup, HTML, JavaScript, those are not going to be deprecated. And even if you do have Sandbox solutions, they will run in Sharepoint 2013. And if you have code behind those, there's a chance that in the next version of Sharepoint that they won't work. Probably more than likely in Office 365 is where those changes will take place. But in actuality, Sandbox solutions are really just an easy way to deploy artifacts to a site collection. But if you have to do any type of custom server-side code, then that's when Microsoft says, okay, well, in that case, why don't you use the app model? That way you don't have to touch the server, and you can make all the calls back into SharePoint using the client-side object model. So Sandbox solutions are basically just a web solution package, so just a WSP, only it's not a farm-based solution. They don't get deployed to the farm. They get uploaded to the solution gallery in a site collection. And then if you're a site owner, then you can go into the solution gallery and then you can activate one of the solutions or whatever solution you're interested in. Now the code, which we're not going to focus on here because that is being deprecated, the code runs in a special monitored host process called SP user code host. So just to take a step back here, I don't really want to go too much into the code part of Sandbox solutions. Yes, we know web parts, they get loaded by a wrapper. So if you write a web part inside of a Sandbox solution, it'll work now. Next version, maybe not, because if you're using server-side code, you may not have success in the next version. It'll work now, though. Like I was saying, you can use the SharePoint server-side object model, but you get a restricted subset. However, it's not advised to do that. So let's just kind of take a step back and think, well, why were Sandbox solutions developed, and then how did the app model come about? So Sandbox solutions were a way for administrators to protect the farm, because when you deploy a solution to the farm that has a memory leak in it, you could potentially bring the whole farm down with your memory leak. And so the Sandbox solutions were a way for administrators to throttle these processor-intensive operations, prevent any kind of unauthorized manipulation of web application and farm infrastructure. So it's all good intentions. Basically just, not letting code do malicious things on the server. Even if it was unintentional, it happens a lot. I've seen it happen lots of times in different environments in my time as a consultant. You can always tell when there's a inexperienced SharePoint developer that deploys a solution and everybody wonders why the farm is performing so slowly, and as soon as they uninstall and remove a certain solution, then everything works fine again. So I've seen that happen quite a bit. So the Sandbox solutions, that was a way for Microsoft to appease network administrators and enterprises for, people are saying, hey, these solutions we can't regulate this. It's killing our farms. It's killing our SharePoint farms. So Microsoft says, okay, we'll come up with a Sandbox solution model. But then that was kind of too restrictive. So that's why the app model came about. The app model is completely decoupled. So with the app model, we're not going to focus on the app model in this course. There's a different course with Learn Now Online that you can take for app model. But basically, just to give you a quick overview, everything is completely decoupled from SharePoint. So the code, if you have just all client-side code, you can deploy it on SharePoint. but you can also deploy your code to different servers. So a different web server, your Sharepoint app is basically like a little wrapper that like iframes out to your to your app, so to the implementation of your app. And so the idea was Microsoft kind of gave up on the Sharepoint Sandbox model for server-side code, so only for server-side code. And for server-side code, they said, okay, well, we'll come up with this new app model. That way, people can do whatever they want. If they want to do model view controller, you want to do PHP, whatever they want to do. Linux, it doesn't even matter. You know, you deploy a manifest to Sharepoint, and it points to where your web app is at. And then in your web app, then you go ahead and make calls back in to manipulate Sharepoint data or get whatever data you need, or push data back in using the Sharepoint web services, Sharepoint API, the REST web services, or even using, if it's a .NET client, you can use the client-side object model. So that's kind of been the evolution. But Sandbox solutions still have their place for deploying artifacts. So for example, we've had several different labs where we deployed lists using farm solutions, but you could just as easily deploy something like that using a Sandbox solution. And the big benefit is that you don't have to touch the server. With Sandbox solutions, you can do everything without touching the server. It just goes into the solution gallery. So we're going to do a demo here. We're going to take a look at using the solution gallery in Sharepoint 2013. So in this demo, we're going to take a look at the solution gallery in Sharepoint 2013. So the way you get there is I have my test site collection open. I go to site settings, and under web designer galleries, I go to solutions. And you can see right now I don't have any solutions. I could upload a solution if I had a WSP file I wanted to upload. What we're going to do is, actually I'm going to go back to Design Manager. So Design Manager is a way for you to package up your site and create a design package. So I'm going to, I've already created some master pages here. I've uploaded some files and created a master page. I've published and applied those. Now if I want, I can actually create a design package. And what this does is you can see here, we're creating a WSP file, so we can easily import it into other site collections. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create. And Sharepoint right now is actually taking everything in the site, packaging it all up into a solution package for me, a WSP file, and it's going to put that into the solutions gallery for me. It takes a little while to do. And you can also take that WSP file that gets created here, and you can actually import it into Visual Studio as well, and then take things out that you don't want in it, and then you can save it again. Okay, so the package is ready. I can download it here if I want to. You can notice how it's pointing to the solutions gallery. So I'm just going to go to the solutions gallery. And here is my solution. Now right now it's not activated, so if I activated it, it's just going to basically try to deploy everything that's packaged up in this solution. So it's going to it's going to activate the features that are in there. I don't want to do that because it's basically going to give me a duplicate of everything in my site, but that is how you would do it. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. And the whole purpose of this is to show you that the solution gallery in Sharepoint is still being used. It's still a vital component. It's not going away. The solution gallery is here to stay. It's not being deprecated at all. Only custom code.